It's Mr. John with AK Dragonfish 3D. Today we're going to make some more lures. It's midnight on President's Day. I'm kind of in the mood to make some hoochies and rig up some apex lures. So here we go. Again, I made another mess, but it's not that big of a mess because we're going to be doing something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this very reflective stuff, right? I chose this one here. You can get a pack, that big old pack I got on Amazon for like 10 bucks or so. All the links are in the bio. And we're gonna put some on some clones that I printed on my 3D printer. My Apollo, call it the Apollo capsule spinner. Needs a little bit of sand work right there before I put it on there, but that should be good. And I'm gonna pair this one with both the shiny rose filament and the shiny green filament. We're gonna see how it goes. I've tied my snells. My snells are getting in the way here. We'll go ahead and we'll start with the apexes. Got my trusty pen. I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna trace it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a rolling trace. So I'm not trying to get perfect. I'm just trying to get there, right? Because what I'm going to do is eventually just cut it out to the trace best I can. I won't do that a second time because these are the same file, so, right? Okay. And there we have it, right? Leader's in the way there. So now we'll just go ahead and cut these out. And again, I'm not trying to go super perfect. I probably won't even coat the whole thing. And I'm going to probably leave the bellies bare. And just do the top portion for flash and presentation, right? So I will take 2 of these, like so, and do it again. Like so. Got a lot of excess material, but we'll set that aside for something else, right? So again, we want to line it up. That should do, right? So I see a lot of people that come in and straight up change the entire aspect of the lure. Me, I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it right at the holes respectively. I'm going to reshape it so it's got more of a rounded edge to it and I don't cover the holes, right? That way it's more like this, and it just hits the main portion of the body without covering the holes, like so. And then I'll go ahead and pull the backing off and we'll stick her on there. If my nails will let me. Okay, there we go. Alright, go ahead and put her on there, like so, right below the holes, and kind of push her on down. Smooth it in. Look how much of a change that already is right there. Smooth it all in. This stuff is waterproof. This stuff is very sticky. And ever since my last video involving this stuff, I've been finding scraps and scripts all over the house. Oh, for when I'm doing this right here, where I'm trimming the edges. Like, and hindsight's 20/20. I think I will do the other side as well. Take the spare piece and go ahead and round it out a bit. Kind of eyeballing the backside, because sometimes you just need to eyeball stuff, right? That, because that's what this tape's for. That's what this reflective stickers are for. Is jazzing up stuff, right? Put it right below the hole. And I didn't line it up perfectly. I can line it up a little better. I mean, I don't aim for perfection 90% of the time. What I do aim for is at least stability and functionality, right? So there we go. Now, doesn't that look better? To me, that looks better. A little sliver right there, tape. A little sliver right there, tape. Right? Now, I could leave it like this. I could top coat it. And there's a million other things I could do to this. But for the purpose of fishing, right? The fish, this is just yet another attractor, right? Like I said, I've already tied some snells. This is when you're fishing an apex lure, if I hold it upright, or a clone has like a ridge. It's essentially a curved leaf-shaped spoon, right? But the weight of the oomph of the lure isn't, like when the fish hits, isn't on the lure itself, it's on the line. Now this is 30-pound trilene with just a simple snell on the end, right? So it's got that groove, and that groove's for the line. As they feed the line up to the hook. Some people like to let the hook dangle back a bit. I prefer, when I fish these things, I prefer to have it up and on the thing, but not super tight. Now there's two holes, right? Ow. That's the second prick of the night. This is a number 4 Gamakatsu, so it's nothing fancy, right? So it comes down the first hole, right? It comes down the first hole and then back up the second hole. That way there's tension, but there's not tension. The tension falls on the line, not the lure. And there we have it. All right, I can loosen it. The joys of it being the way it is, I want it to be a little more up the line or down the line, respectively. And snagged on the other snails. Okay? Up or down the line, respectively. Right? So, like I said, I like to have my apexes right up on it, and maybe just a hair off, and then I'll put my bait on the hook. Throw this out there. It's out there. I'll put just a swivel on the end here, for the sake of argument. I think for the sake of argument, I'll put some yellow beads on here. Just these tiny yellow beads, just for giggles. And if I can hold on to them, I'm having a clutch night. So, couple couple beads in the fence. You know, I'll do some clear red beads. I like that idea. Make it look like the bait fish is chasing some eggs. Alright, couple clear red beads, and then we'll just tie a swivel on the end. Now most people, like if you buy this at the store, the store brand, right? If you buy the store brand, it'll come with chain swivel. Barrel swivel to me works just as well as a chain swivel, in my opinion. There's really nothing to it. Klutz moment. Sometimes I don't like 30 pound, but it is what it is, right? Knot. Tighten the knot, wet the knot. Trim the tag. So I'm doing this at home, but if you're doing this at the lake, make sure you control your tags. Don't pollute the waters, plastic, all that jazz. So there we go. So swivel down the line to some line twist. Down the line to apex lure with a couple beads on it, right? And there we have it. And I can do that through like so, do it 3 times. Swivel, whatever. And there we go. Now let's do the other one. So again, we're gonna take it, we're gonna trim it down. Trim it down so it doesn't cover the holes. Trim it down so it doesn't overshadow. That one's still a little long in the end, but that's fine, right? I can always just hold it, retrim the end, like this. The joys of modern technology. Scissors. Well, you really can't call scissors modern technology. They've been around forever. Not aiming for perfect, just aiming for it to fit on the top, right? Come on, there we go. Not aiming for perfect, just aiming for it to sit on the top, right? Like so. Right, like so. Smooth it out. Got that crease in the middle, so make sure the crease is nice and like that. And there we have it, right? We'll take our excess. And we'll put some on the belly. I initially wasn't going to put anything on the belly of the lure, but I thought, you know what? I think it looked better with something on the belly. So I kind of just rolled with it as I'm shooting this video. Right? I'm getting this scrap all over this table. It's funny, it's glorious. Now one heck of a mess to clean up later. But for now, we're putting tape on apex lures. Or apex clones, I should say. So we'll take it and just kind of put it in the inside. Just like this. Just like that. Bingo bongo. Whammo bammo. Okay. So there's the top. There's the bottom. Right? Now as it goes through the water. Boom, boom, boom. Right? And again, I got a single snell tied right here. And this one I think I'll put Put some orange beads on there. I want the beads to clash, but not to contrast, but not clash. So maybe some white beads. I like white beads. Grab a couple white beads here. Couple. Oh nope, that's a glow in the dark bead. Not a white bead. My beads spilled last video, so it's been a joyous mess cleaning it up. I still haven't gone through and sorted all my beads yet, but that's a whole nother animal. And again, we smooth it out. Now I'll probably like unrig these from the and of course the snell grab my shorts. Right? And give them like a top coat or something to that effect. Now again, between this the business end, right? This is the business end. But between here and the swivel, I mean, you put anything you want on this line. I mean, you could. I prefer to put beads on it, but you could put spinners or swivels or chain beads or weights or bobbers or what have you. I just prefer to put a couple beads on it and be done with it. Simple but effective. These beads got a little flash on them from the knitting process, but it is what it is. Nothing I can do about that. Okay? I'll come in here. Tie a simple uni knot. I can tie it again without being a klutz about it. Yeah, look at that, already a klutz. Tag on the I tied that wrong. Oh well. It's tied, it's tight. Right? And lo and behold, right? And here we are again. Then the business end. Right? So you have the hook, you can put it down, you can twist it up. It depends on how you set your snell. Got the reflective, and it sits there and does this through the water, giving its own action, so you really don't need to have it behind a flasher or anything. You don't need this end down here to impart action to the lure. This is why I put my leaders at least double, or I start when I do these things at least double arm's length. A little bit of flash on the bead, and there we have, and there you have it. Two of them ready to go, right? Alright. Next order of business here will be twisted bad. Okay. Next order of business here is I'll tie a spin and glow. I was thinking about just tying a spin and glow Hoochie. Put a Hoochie and a spin and glow at the same time. I think it'll be interesting to say the least. So I got this 3D printed my satellite, and I got all this extra stuff here from when I cut the last ones, and we'll go ahead and make this thing nice and vibrant and shiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a small strip. I'm going to have to be a small strip, probably just a little tiny square, right? Just a tiny square on both sides of the blade. Okay? And that didn't cut very well. Let me trim that down. There we go. Right, because essentially these are just turbine powered. What I mean by turbine powered is they spin through the water according to the water current. So they do this through the water, right? And with that reflective action on both sides of each blade, put that one down a little more, right? It'll impart that flash as well as that action, right? Go figure. Just like that, just a little tiny square on both sides. Not trying to get fancy, just trying to get effective. So again, like that, right? We'll cut another strip, cut it in half. I don't think I'll put a Hoochie on this one. I think I'll just leave it as a spin and glow. Or a spin, I gotta stop saying spin glow. Like a spinner type. But the lures have functionality in common in the fact that they're bait capable lures, especially here in Alaska. And single hooks. And essentially the same technique you would use for drop shotting, you would go ahead and use in this instance as well, right? So when fishing these things, I'm gonna rig them up so they rig up my line just like a drop shot. Again, I'm not aiming for perfect. I'm aiming for flash. So let me grab the line real quick. I'll feed the line on. Right? And it's going to go something along that line right there. Okay? I tap it and boom. So that flash, right? That's what I'm going for, is that flash. So the river comes up, drops in. This end over here goes to the three-way. The weight hits the thing. So this is up suspended like this. This is spinning. There's beads on both sides. And then there's like an egg sac. There's an egg sac down below. And I think I'm going to put probably a strip or two on the body itself. I like this idea. Not a long strip, but a strip nevertheless, right? To give it that additional flair, that additional flash, that additional oomph and pizzazz. And I'll just put it straight down the middle. Nothing spectacular, right? Don't have to be. I could put it vertically, I can put it horizontally, I can put it sideways. Not the point. The point I'm trying to make here is flashy presentation. And again, this tape comes in wide variety of shapes, colors, sizes, large sheets, small sheets. I just particularly chose this one out of complete and utter randomness. So, yeah. So again, we put some tape on the body itself. We'll go ahead and grab our line, feed it on there, and give her a spin, and let's see how this works, right? So I'm going to put my finger a couple times, and there we have it. That's how it'll look coming through the water. Throw it out there, the current's taking it, boom, the fish will see that. They'll see that, they'll see the motion, they'll see the color, they'll see the bright vibrance, and And then as they get closer, they'll zero in down on the baits. They'll zero in down on the baits down here, down on the double snell, and then Bob's your uncle, fish on. Right? But with this rig, I'm going to go with some bigger beads. And, yeah, I think I'll go with some darker beads to contrast the brightness of the, excuse me, the brightness of the spinner, right? So I'll put, if I can grab it. I'll put 2 dark beads on one end, put the spinner there, drop 2 dark beads on the other end, and booyaka shot, right? And that's simple, effective, right? Set that at the right depth. Put some bait on this one here. So if they zero in on this, they zero in on that as you're trolling, or as it's sitting in the river, or whatever. As it's sitting in the river, they zero in on that. They hit that hook, or maybe when the fish gets closer, they go, ooh, look at this tasty herring, bait, squid, catfish, whatever you put on this back hook. And there you have it. Now, optionally, depending on your make, manufacturer, personal preference, etc., people put blades on these as well. Again, for that extra presentation. For this purpose, I'm going to choose not to put a blade. I was thinking about putting a blade, but I choose not to put a blade. I'll just tie a swivel to it. Then I'll move on to making a hoochie. Again, this part is 3D printed. So, go ahead and do a uni knot here. Klutzy fingers. Swivel on there. Alright. Come it down. And on the tag. And there we have it. And then we'll throw some bait on here, like a spawn sack. And then on this end, this is where we'll clip a 3-way swivel, maybe a chain swivel, to add some extra or maybe I'll clip this off and put a chain swivel on here to add some extra anti-line twist. And then 3-way, this way to the weight and this way to the main line. Right. So last but not least, Hoochies. And a Hoochie rig, a basic Hoochie rig, is really no different than what I just did, right? I got me a Hoochie. I'll go with the red and white. Yeah. Let's see. That one's already got a hole in it, so with the red and the white, right? So we'll take our line, arm's length. So it works best with me. Go and grab a hook and tie a snell. Alright? Okay, so a little bit of camera mishap here. I don't know where my camera left off, but I was in the middle of tying snells for tying up a hoochie. I decided I would use this red and white hoochie, but now that I look at it, this one's pretty beat up. This one's pretty beat up. It's got some pokes and holes and whatnot in it, so we'll grab a different hoochie. We'll call it a backup hoochie for now. Alright, so we'll take a brand new hoochie and put the ends. So we got a little hole. Made a needle for the line. I've tied a double snell. I haven't trimmed the tag yet for the trail hook. Alright, so this is just a piece of wire. Nothing fancy, right? I take the hoochie, feed the needle through the hoochie head, pull the needle through, and sure enough, there's the line, right? Bob's your uncle, there's the line. I'll pull this. Oops, I forgot something. My bad. I forgot the hoochie body. Okay, so this is a red hoochie. So with solid colored bodies, I prefer to use solid colored beads, right? So we'll use some solid red beads, at least 4. If you're going to use larger beads, less, but if you're going to use the tiny quality beads, little tiny beads like this, 4 is about right, yeah? So you feed the line, so you feed the beads on the line, they form the body of the hoochie. That way that, one, the hoochie doesn't slide right off the hook like I almost did, and 2, gives the hoochie some substance, so when it's going through the water, it doesn't do weird things in the water. Right? Some people may or may not agree with me on that, and you know what? That's fine. Now we'll take our needle and we will feed through the hoochie. Right? We'll feed the beads all the way down to the end of the hook. We'll get off the other, right, like that, right? And then we'll take the hoochie and we'll slide the hoochie all the way down so the body goes over the beads, right? And the beads form this body that's right here. Okay? And the hook comes out with the trail hook behind it, like so. Kind of get your little tentacly doodads there. Again, I haven't trimmed the tag for the purpose of doing this. And then you would just flesh out the rest of the spinner. What I like to do is 2 beads spinner 1 bead when it comes to making a hoochie. Some people don't like using spinners, but I think spinners work great for hoochies. In this particular instance, I'm going to go with something that clashes but doesn't overly contrast. So I'll go with yellow. I think I'll go with yellow. We'll slap a couple of yellow beads on here. Right, I'll go with I'll go with the bigger yellow beads too. That works too. I'll go with some larger yellow beads I got from the fishing aisle at Walmart. So we'll go yellow. It's a red and white. I'm going with bright colors, so I'm going to use a big yellow. So you know what? I got a better idea. Previous video, I redid some blades, right? I redid some blades. Doing the same thing I did over here with these, I did with a blade. So I'm going to use the blade. I'm going to make it a red blade. Grab me a clevis out of my handy dandy box here. Got my yellow beads on there. I got my clevis, red blade. Good thing. One more yellow bead. Finish it off. And then a swivel. A barrel swivel. A barrel swivel. My kingdom for a barrel swivel. Alright. Get it on here. So, 2, 3 is 30 pounds. I'll try to go 6 wraps, 5 to 6 wraps. If it was lighter weight, I'd go probably 10 wraps or so. And my finger stuck. I am such a klutz tonight when it comes to tying a uni knot. This is horrible. This is so horrible tonight. You ever one of those klutz nights? Klutz days? Trying to get something done and all of a sudden bingo bango, you're just whammied. Everything you do is ash, fire, burning, the world is dying, the sky is falling, Chicken Little moments. I don't know how, depending on where you're from in the world, you might call it something different, but yeah. There we go. And there you go. There's a spinner hoochie for you. Beads, trail hook, goes to the water, single hook, you put the bait, you put like a egg sac or something on the trail end, and you'll be good to go. Alright, so trim tags here, and then we'll just do a review of my nightly thing. Again, this has its own action, so you can troll it behind a dodger, or a flasher, or a string of flashers. Probably going to make a string of flashers later on. Right? And then the beads, the hoochies, the blades, it could be any color really imaginable, up to creators' content, right? And that's the whole purpose of this, is to get you to realize, get people to make their own stuff. There's no sense in, I know there's a fishing, spectacle about, oh, I gotta have the top of the line this, I gotta have the top of the line that. But you know what? Make your own stuff, man. Get a little creative. There's lots of DIY out there to do. This is just one of the many things about DIY fishing, is the fact that you can make your own lures and be perfectly content in making your own lures. Right? Review. I rigged up two Apex clones, essentially leaf blade trolling lures, printed on my 3D printer, Ender 3s. Rigged up a spinning trolling with a double snell. Again, I put a flasher tape, the same style of tape. I just grabbed one thing of a reflective tape, a reflective sticker, and put it on there. And then I rigged up a hoochie with a double snell, put some beads on there, and made the blade. Done in a previous video here. So, lure making complete for the night. And remember, fishing is life. For everything else, there's coffee. Y'all have a good night and good luck fishing out there.